Brown has. So I think that's something that we're really going to see, this weekend. That's a tough one to call, to be honest with you.
How much more diverse would it make the defense to have
Ooh.
Brown and Long Jr. next to each other?
I mean, you're talking about now, like in essence, like it's almost like a dime look, even though you have two linebackers, because the range, and the coverage ability that both of those guys bring. So it would be more diverse. You don't have to, really worry as much about matching up, with a dime package. Although Crookshank coming into the game has been pretty good for them, that 3 safety look.
Ben texting the text line. Ben, not Indy Ben.
Not Indy Ben.
And asked TD, how many times do the Titans beat the Rams out of 10? Henry versus no Henry.
Well, I think it will kind of be 50-50 with Henry. I would probably go 7, maybe 6 out of 4 times. I think the Rams will win without him.
I just wonder where Indy Ben has gone.
Indy Ben has been in the text line.
So he has
the
been
past
this
couple of
week,
days.
even
Yes.
with the. Okay, that's.
Yep, he is alive and well.
Okay, I just want to check on Indy Ben after last week.
Yeah, Indy Ben's doing okay. But Dustin texts in and says, I just looked at the Rams' schedule. They beat a Colts team without Wentz in game 1. They've played 3 good teams, barely beat some of the bad teams. I know they're loaded on both sides of the ball, but could this be a trap game for the Rams?
I don't think it could be a trap game for the Rams. It's a primetime game. I think, with Von Miller coming in here, I think that's going to, put them on high alert, and the extra juice and energy that he'll bring. I don't think it's going to be a trap game or anything like that. I'm not sure exactly what's next on their schedule, but I would find it hard to believe that they would come out on prime time and not show up. Looks like they have –
At the 49ers and a bye week.
Yeah, so – no, I don't think it's a trap game.
Heidi from Dixon asked TD, would trading for Odell Beckham Jr. hurt anything if the Titans could get him for a few million, since Julio is a failed trade?
Well, the problem is all of the money that is on his deal. I think it's pretty high this year and next year, although I don't believe next year is guaranteed. But, it wouldn't hurt anything. That's – he's a guy that's dying to get out of there. He still has some playmaking ability, but I'm just not sure that would be a move that you would make. You already have a lot invested, in Julio Jones. So I wouldn't make that trade, to bring him aboard. Now, if he gets released, that's a different story. It's something you could look at. Just like, Deshaun Jackson, just to get another vertical threat, that's something I would look at. Now that he cleared waivers, I'm sure he would be inexpensive. But, with those two guys – right now, you're looking at guys who like you have to give them touches for them to be productive, because they have this tendency to check out if they don't get the touches. Whereas you look at A.J. Brown, and that's another thing that makes him so unique. Early, that guy didn't touch the football until 4 minutes and 16 seconds left in the second quarter. What? But when he touched the football, guess what happened? 57-yard house call to tie the game up. So not everybody has that same mindset and makeup that Brown has. And that's an example, in Brown and Jackson and Deshaun. These guys, they tend to check out if they don't get the ball early.
I wonder if the Browns are actually going to release him.
That's why I said if they release him. That's an excellent point, Jared, because it's very possible. For the life of me, I don't understand. Like if I was a player and I got drafted by Cleveland, or even made them, I'm not gonna say made the mistake. If I signed with them, I would, because it just seems like stuff just goes left there all the time.
But Odell also, I just don't like the dad putting out the video, and I get it. I understand it, and I understand the frustration. If you're that open and you're not getting the ball, I'd be frustrated too.
Does social media run things? Did Odell Beckham Jr. put the video out?
You think Odell didn't okay it? I think Vrabel would have. I think Vrabel would have a problem with that.
So you really think Odell Beckham Jr. said, "Hey, Dad, I want you to make a video," or you even think his dad made the video? Come on, stop it.
But Dominique Foxworth said, and I agree with Dominique.
Okay.
He said that Odell's dad is not putting that video out there if it doesn't get the okay from Odell.
I don't know. I don't know that to be true, because I know a lot of players whose folks put stuff out there without even consulting with them. So I'm not going to sit here and assume that his dad put that video out there, and said, "Hey, son, do you mind if I?" No, I don't believe that one.
TD, one texter texts in and asks, "Do you think Jeffrey Simmons returns to practice tomorrow?"
I'm not sure if he does. I think what you have to remember, Wednesday was a light walkthrough. I mean, these guys didn't even have their helmets on. So today, him not being there, it's something to be a little concerned about. But I don't think whether or not he practices tomorrow really determines what they're going to do on game day. I think Jeffrey Simmons is still going to play. So for me, unless something happened yesterday, in that walkthrough, I don't think there's a concern about him playing.
The Canadian Titan texts in and
My
says
man.
one thing that's circling Titans Twitter right now is the idea that the team should sit anyone who is remotely hurt because this is an NFC game and therefore doesn't matter as much. Do you think this is something the team has considered?
I don't believe so. I mean, all games matter, especially if you look at, where the Titans are. They are atop the AFC right now, but they have 3 games on the Colts, but let's face the facts. And Jared, you've pointed to this before. You don't really want to end up going on multiple, too many road games en route to the Super Bowl. So I still think every game is of importance because that race for that home field advantage. And imagine this. Imagine if you get that number 1 seed, you get an extra week off. Guess what that extra week gives you?
The king.
A little bit more time for Derrick Henry to, come back if, again, I'm not trying to sell false hope, if that is going to happen.
I mean, I think, too, the AFC, I think Buffalo and a Derrick Henry Titans team are the 2 best teams in the AFC.
Yeah.
I think everybody below that, I just assume them kill each other and then let you get the team that makes it out of that, get one crack at it with a healthy Derrick Henry. And also, it would not be – and Vrabel has shown, a couple years ago in that Saints game when he didn't play Derrick with the hamstring, that he sees the bigger picture. But I also think Vrabel would have a hard time, the guy he is, to get on the plane to go to L.A. and play a preseason game.
Yeah. No,
that's just not who he is.
Exactly.
Scott sends in a tweet from Jordan Rodrigue, who covers the Rams for The Athletic, and says the Rams have signed running back Mekhi Sargent to their practice squad. So Scott asks your thoughts on that and if Mekhi Sargent is going to help the Rams.
That's very interesting. I don't think that, he's going to help the Rams right now. I could, that sound, the raindrops that you hear, they're not raindrops, they're tears from a lot of these Titans fans that
Rexrode
fell in love. Yeah, Rexrode especially fell in love with Sargent in the preseason. Long story short, I don't believe he helps, even if it's from a lot of people like to say, hey, well, they signed him for intel. Well, you know what? Even if you get the intel, guess what you got to do? You got to stop it. So I don't think it's of much benefit.
Plus, I have a feeling the Rams have a pretty good grasp on what the Titans want to do offensively, since it's essentially, their offense.
Well, they got Sean McVay. He named everybody on the offense of another team, and he was instantly anointed a genius somehow. So that you got that.
Oh well, they've already put him in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's guys. He got to 1 Super Bowl. So did Lovie Smith. But let's go ahead and put McVay in the Hall of Fame and not question the fact that he signed Jared Goff to the richest, most guaranteed money of all time, and then dumped him a couple years later. Let's not question that. That's just Sean McVay, the greatest. TD, appreciate you as always. We'll talk to you on the pregame show. Of course, you'll be on the morning show tomorrow as well. And talking with TD is out, getting you set for this Rams preview. Chris Sanders will probably saying some crazy things on the Talking with TD podcast.
Got Lindsey Theory on there too. She's a superstar, man.
And we will talk to you soon. See you, TD.
All right, take care.
Yep, TD, Teron Davenport, the best in the business. I am with TD on the Sean McVay thing.
That he's just
he's
the ground that he walks on is kissed.
He's fine.
He's a very smart football mind. 100%. I am not
fine.
going to undermine him.
But what he's done, this the fact that people get on their knees when it comes to Sean
I'm not
McVay,
getting on my knees for Sean McVay.
And every owner wants, I just want the next McVay. It's really? I want the next Belichick. That's who I want the next, the next 6 Super Bowl coach. That's who I want. McVay's had a nice run.
McVay is a very smart football mind.
But, I mean,
there's a lot of very smart football minds out there.
You know, whatever. Anywho.
I just have a bad taste in my mouth about anything involved with the Rams.
Why?
Because
you're from St. Louis.
Yes, I am from St. Louis.
I never even thought about that. Yeah, that makes sense. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, Tennessee plays a huge game on Saturday against Kentucky. There is one thing that Vol fans who are never good at admitting things that they need to admit about this game. And I know they don't want to do it. That's next. Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Take us wherever you may go.
There is going to be a whole lot of work going on.
Shoot us in anywhere, anytime.
I think he has some big play in him.
Just search The Game Nashville in your app store and download today. And keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Bring home unstoppable comfort with a new Train heating and cooling system. At Train, we test so it runs. Visit traininfo.com to find your local dealer. It's hard to stop a train.
Is it time to fix your roof? Trust the roofers with integrity. E2 Roofing is a veteran-owned and operated local roofer that has built the reputation of delivering better service. E2 assists customers with roof repair and replacements through their insurance claim assistance, which has awarded them with 95-star Google ratings and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Find out if insurance will pay for your new roof with a free inspection at e2roofingnashville.com.
The 2021 Major League Soccer season isn't over yet, Nashville. Are you in? There's just one regular season home match remaining as we make our final push for a playoff spot. Don't miss the action on Sunday, November 7th at 2:30 p.m. against New York Red Bulls at Nissan Stadium. Come be a part of the most unique sports experience in Nashville. Tickets are on sale now from just $22 at NashvilleSC.com. Everyone in.
How'd you like that?
Mortgage rates are on the move, but you can still lower your house payment with my friends at Loan Pronto. Willie here. Call Loan Pronto now and take advantage of their super popular zero-cost refi program. So many people are doing this before the year ends. You can refi now. Get a rate with an APR in the low 2s with no junk fees and no closing costs. Even if you refinanced 6 months ago. Loan Pronto's all-digital process is fast and easy, virtually no paperwork required, and most loans get closed in 14 days. And if you act right now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. So call Loan Pronto now. Rates are still really low. If you're currently in the APR range of over 2.75, call now. You got nothing to lose. See how much you can save by going into the new year. Lower that house payment. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans eligible. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Craneworks, Rentalworks, yeah! The big dog's got it.
Craneworks is ready to help lift Nashville. As the Southeast's most trusted name in crane and equipment rental for over 30 years, Craneworks offers certified operators to make sure the job is done right. Rentalworks has a diverse fleet of equipment to assist in any project, big or small. From forklifts to carry deck cranes, they have it all. When it's time for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project, call Craneworks. Visit craneworks.com.
Rolling Loud presents rap superstar DaBaby. Live show Killer Tour. DaBaby.
As if I got a reason to act like I'm lonely.
Nashville Municipal Auditorium, January 19th. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. DaBaby for one incredible night in Nashville. For full show info and more, check liveshowkillatour.com. Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne. Online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman & Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 1025 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. By the way, I want to thank all of our fans out there for having more people watch on the stream than watch Robbie and Rexroad.
That's the only feather that we're going to put in this cap.
All I want to be, you know how Butch Jones wants to get 1% better every day?
Brick by brick, baby.
I just want to get 1/10 of a percent better than Robbie and Rexroad every day.
That's all it takes.
That's all I want.
Just 1/10 at a time.
Just 1/10 at a time with Robbie and Rexroad. Though I do love them, and they are doing great. Congratulations
doing a great
to them. Tennessee plays Kentucky this week. Now, I'm not going to lie to you all. I watched a little college football on Saturday. You know, I watched Georgia's first half where they just annihilated Florida. Mm-hmm. And I watched Michigan State. Then I went to Game 4 of the World Series. I'm sorry to everybody, but the World Series just meant more to me than college football did on Saturday.
Well, SEC football just means more. You know what they say.
Apparently, though, Kentucky got obliterated by Mississippi State.
They did.
Which is kind of a red flag. But they play Tennessee on Sunday. And I thought to myself... Saturday, that's right. I thought on Saturday, I thought like, okay, I'm thinking in my head the line. And I'm like, Tennessee's playing okay. You know, I mean, I'm impressed with what I see out of Josh Heupel year one. Like, Tennessee's playing okay.
Yeah.
Kentucky has had a good season, sans last week. And I thought they held their own with Georgia, which is saying something because I think Georgia's pretty freaking good. I'm thinking games in Lexington, Kentucky by 4, I figured. Do you know what the line is?
It's 1, if not a half.
It's a pick 'em.
Yeah.
So when I looked at it today, it was a pick 'em. And I thought to myself, that's kind of crazy, right? A pick 'em? Tennessee on the road at Kentucky. Kentucky blasted Tennessee last year, though last year was different. Jared Garantano played.
He threw 17 picks.
Jeremy Pruitt coached. Mm-hmm. I understand it was different. Games in Lexington, and it's a pick 'em. And I wonder if that spread is the reality of how much better Tennessee is compared to what we thought they were going to be or where they were at the beginning of the season, or if it's an overreaction to Kentucky's loss against Mississippi State, or like if it's a fan-driven number, or if these two teams are really that even. And I say this, Tennessee fans, because Tennessee was so good against Kentucky for so long, the first time in my lifetime that Tennessee lost to Kentucky, I was a junior in college. And Kentucky won, I think, with a wide receiver playing quarterback. And that was, I want to say, Dooley's second to last year, but it was like the moment of truth where you knew Derek Dooley sucked. Mm-hmm. And Kentucky's been awful, and now Mark Stoops has built it back up, and they've beaten Tennessee. But I think Tennessee fans still look at Kentucky like they're beneath them. Like, oh, yeah, it's Kentucky. And you can say this. I saw somebody put out on Twitter that if Kentucky won like 100 matchups in a row, they would still be 5 games back of Tennessee or something ridiculous like that. Mm-hmm. And that's great. But right now, Kentucky's a better program than Tennessee. Right now. You know, you take the last 5 years.
A better program or a better team?
It's a better program. You take the last 5 years, they're better than Tennessee. You take the last 10, then I got to do some research because Mark Stoops inherited a complete mess at Kentucky. Mm-hmm. But I think you got to give respect where respect is due.
Yeah.
I mean, Kentucky the last couple of years, they're an 8, 7, 10 win team every year. And this team looks no different. I know they got housed last week by Mississippi State, but I don't think it's that much of a difference. So I'm having a hard time looking at the spread of this game, seeing a pick 'em, and seeing how that is an accurate spread. And I listen to some Tennessee fans. Now, I'm not surrounded by them like you are.
I am surrounded.
But I wouldn't be cocky about this game because I'd have a lot of respect for the University of Kentucky right now if I was a Vols fan.
I think that this spread is motivated by Kentucky's start to the season and Tennessee's kind of turn of the season ever since the Missouri game. Because if you look at Kentucky, Will Levis threw for 367 yards in week 1. And everyone was on board with Will Levis, with this passing game that Kentucky was able to scheme up. He threw for 254 against Chattanooga. They just barely squeaked out a win against Chattanooga.
Same old Kentucky, they can't throw.
Will Levis has not thrown for more than 200 yards since week 3. He threw for 102, 87, 145, 192 against Georgia, 150 against Mississippi State. I mean, they beat Florida, but I don't think that this is one of Florida's better teams. They got housed by Mississippi State, housed by Georgia, which it was impressive that they were even able to put up 13 points.
I was impressed with them versus Georgia.
Getting housed against Georgia is not really anything that I'm going to hold against you. They beat LSU because LSU was god-awful.
But I will hold you getting housed against Mississippi State again.
I will hold you
even
to
though
that.
I didn't see the game.
I will hold you to that. I think Kentucky relies way more on the running back than anyone is leading on. Chris Rodriguez, he ran for 207 against Missouri, which Missouri's defense sucks, 144 against South Carolina, 99 against Florida, 147 against LSU. So, and Tennessee has had a pretty decent run defense so far this season. And Tennessee so far, since the Missouri game, yeah, they lost to Alabama, but they kept it close into the fourth quarter. Yes, they lost to Ole Miss, but they kept it close throughout the entire game. So I think that this game is dependent on, okay, what we've seen Kentucky be able to do, beat Florida, put up big numbers against some of their cupcake games early in the season. But it's driven a lot by Tennessee's the way that they've looked the past few weeks. So I think it really is more of a pick'em than you're leading on to.
It sounds to me like you don't have a lot of respect for Kentucky.
I have lost respect for Kentucky later on in the season.
I would have I think Tennessee fans, and
I was high on Kentucky going into I picked them to finish second in the East.
I don't think you're a Tennessee fan, even though I feel like you kind of are. I don't think Tennessee fans have respect for Kentucky like I think they should.
I would agree.
I mean, Kentucky, like Mark Stoops, I covered Kentucky when Mark Stoops took that job. They freaking suck.
They were the laughingstock of the SEC.
I mean, it was
a basketball school and nothing else.
It was literally like what I see Vanderbilt right now. Like, it was that bad. They lost to Western Kentucky in their first game that Mark Stoops was the coach. They were 2-10. Then 5-7, 5-7, 7-6, 7-6, 10-3, 8-5, 5-6 in the COVID year last year. Mm-hmm. In which they won the Gator Bowl, and now they're 6-2. They're good. Like that is
they're a good team.
That is good. Kentucky is good, and I know you're crunching the numbers here, saying, well, that team wasn't very good, and that team wasn't very good, and that team wasn't but they're 6-2.
6-2, almost lost to UT Chattanooga. Beat South Carolina 16-10. South Carolina beat Vanderbilt by 1 point.
Yeah,
and I know it's difficult to compare apples to apples.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. But, this is the problem, though, is I think Tennessee fans don't have any respect for Kentucky. And if the Volunteers go in there on Saturday and they don't have any respect for Kentucky, they're going to get their asses kicked. Because Kentucky knows how to do it.
Yeah.
Kentucky's done it to them. This is not like it was 20 years ago when Kentucky 5 years ago, 10 years ago, when Kentucky for the life of them could not win a game against either Florida or Tennessee. They are not worried about playing Florida or Tennessee. And I'm going to say this about Kentucky. Them getting housed, just what I know about football in general, them getting housed by Mississippi State last week is a bad sign for Tennessee.
That was the first thing I thought when I saw that score.
You are going to see them practice that whole week and take it so seriously. And they know what's on the line. They know that they have, for the most part, I know Pruitt beat that 10-win Kentucky team a couple years ago, but they have, for the most part, Kentucky handled their business against Tennessee of late, and they know that if we don't keep taking care of Tennessee, then Tennessee's going to get back to acting all high and mighty like they were before, and we don't want to be the group that lets that happen. This is a much bigger rivalry game to me for Kentucky than it is a rivalry game for Tennessee, which makes it even more emotional for the Wildcats. And what I'm saying is, college football, the fans do listen to the players do listen to the fans because they're on their phones all the time. And if everybody thinks that, hey, this game is, Kentucky's not very good or Kentucky's here and Tennessee there, I'm worried about the Vols because I just know that I just don't feel the fair amount of respect for the Kentucky program over the last 6 years that I feel like they've earned and that they have rubbed your noses in it a little bit. And everybody that I talk to that likes the Vols seems to just totally ignore it. And I think this is the biggest swing game left on the schedule. Everything else is kind of predetermined, right? Mm-hmm. They ain't beating Georgia. They're going to beat they're going to beat Vanderbilt. Mm-hmm. They're going to beat South Alabama. Who else they play?
They have Kentucky, Georgia, South Alabama, and Vanderbilt.
Okay, so they're going to beat Kentucky, or they're going to beat Vanderbilt and South Alabama. They're going to lose to Georgia. This is the one swing game left on the schedule. That's the one thing I'd say about all of this is I would say, hey, just be careful here. Just be a little careful. That's it with Kentucky. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Here's the question I got for the callers and the texters, 615-737-1025, which is this. Do you think the Vols are actually a better team than Kentucky? The game is being played in Lexington. Kentucky has had, outside of last year where they were 5-6, with the COVID year where they only played SEC teams, Kentucky has had a winning record in 5 of the last 6 years. They are 6-2. Do we really think Tennessee's better than Kentucky? 615-737-1025, what Trevor Maddich has to say about this game. We'll get to that next. Plus, Terry Crisp will join us later this hour. Stillman & Company, we're delivered by TriStar Moving. It's ESPN 1025 The Game. Let me tell you about silly underdog picks. That's right. Make your underdog picks that you think will win this week, and you could win if you go to theGameNashville.com or the Game Nashville mobile app. You could win tickets to a sporting event or a concert in Nashville. For more details, go to theGameNashville.com. Silly Underdog Picks presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket. Stillman & Company, it's ESPN 1025 The Game.
The Titans season has taken a turn with the Derrick Henry injury.
This is bad for the Titans. And unfortunately, I think there's going to be a lot of responsibility put onto the shoulders of people who aren't good enough to do it.
For all the latest on the King.
It makes getting through the end of the season seem so much more menacing now that you don't have that guy.
Keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Staples Connect is a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
It's the official Bud Light Preds watch party as the Predators take on the Dallas Stars Wednesday the 10th. Puck drops at 7:30, but the party starts at 7 with all kinds of specials. See you at headquarters, Beercade, downtown Nashville on 2nd Avenue. Go Preds!
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough. The WAVE technology at Hillside Medical Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and final sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an incredible event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and extraordinary pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35% this Friday, Saturday, and yes, open Sunday for this great event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal, and it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers here from LA and New York with their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Rock Bottom Nashville is Broadway's original brewery, where all brews are brewed on site. Josh Rappaport is Rock Bottom's brewmaster, creating fresh craft beers where peak flavors are always the rule. Grab one of their blockbuster beers to pair with their nachos, pretzel bites, and delicious flatbreads. They even have group catering. They boast one of the best views of downtown Nashville and is a short walk to Titan Stadium. And enjoy happy hour Monday through Friday afternoons from 2 until 6. Rock Bottom Nashville, 111 Broadway.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
How do you see the Vols' chances going up against the Cats?
Very good chances. That bye week is critical. I mean, even banged up as they were against Alabama 2 weeks ago, they played a competitive game against the Tide in Tuscaloosa for basically 3+ quarters. I mean, it was a one-score game early in the fourth quarter. And then, in the end, they were trying to catch up, and they threw an interception. Bama punched it in on a short field. Then they went for it on fourth down on their own 29. Bama punched it in on another short field. And the score looked a lot less competitive than the game actually was. Well, now with 2 weeks, they've got guys back, especially at running back and in the offensive line. And then Hendon Hooker will probably be a lot more healthy, too, and he'll be able to move around a bit better. So these are things that bode well for Tennessee. Kentucky, on the other hand, for goodness sake, they played Mississippi State last week and got housed. I mean, they got dominated everywhere there is to be dominated. They gave up 4 turnovers. 3 of those were interceptions. The quarterback for Mississippi State, Will Rogers, set an SEC record in completion percentage. He had 39 pass attempts, completed 36 of them against the Georgia defense. Well, a healthy and rested Tennessee, with the way that they are throwing the ball down the field, with the way that they are getting better and better at the up-tempo stuff. And that up-tempo stuff messed with Alabama. It duped Alabama into some critical missed assignments in the secondary. And if Alabama is going to blow assignments because of that up-tempo Tennessee offense, Kentucky may well also. All these things add up to where the Volunteers have a very good chance to go to Kentucky and take care of business.
There you go. That was Trevor Maddox. He thinks the Vols got a good shot on Saturday. I'll say this. When I watch the team the Titans are about to play, unless it's Indianapolis, like where the division where their result affects the standings, I always root for them to play well. There was a game a couple of years ago. The Titans went on the road. They beat Kansas City, and they were back in the playoff picture for the first time in eons. And they were playing Jacksonville. And Jacksonville had a big lead on Houston. And Houston came back and won the game. And I was like, oh, no. Jacksonville gave up this 21-0 lead. And they fired Gus Bradley the next day. And I thought, oh, no. Now you're going to have a new head coach. When a team fires their coach, the first game with the interim coach, you have always got to be careful. Always have to be worried after a team gets their rear end spanked what they're going to do the next game. Always. And I would be worried if I was a Tennessee fan with how Kentucky got killed last week by Mississippi State and unexpectedly embarrassed. Let's go to your phones. Phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. What do we have?
Dustin texts into the text line and says, whose program is more frustrating to watch the last 5 years? Tennessee. Who keeps trying to screw up their program? Tennessee. Who's on the come up? The Wildcats. It's just super frustrating to watch Tennessee and easier every year to root for Kentucky. Tennessee and Kentucky continue to trend in opposite directions.
So I'll say this about Kentucky. I think Stoops has done a great job recruiting because he's getting the second best players. You know, he goes to Ohio and he's going to get the kids that Ohio State doesn't get. He's going to go to, like parts of Florida and get players that Florida and traditionally Florida State and teams like that aren't getting. Which, when you get the second best players, you're normally going to get what kind of results?
The second best.
There you go. So there's still another layer that Stoops has to break through where he's got to go get his Tim Couch. He's got to go get his Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. If he gets that kind of player, then Kentucky's got a real shot to have a special season. Until then, they'll be what they are, which is 1 year they'll win 8, 1 year they'll win 6, 1 year they'll win 9, 1 year they'll win. But that's going to be consistent. You're going to have second best results every year. And I think Stoops is okay with that. But when you've got the second best players, you're never going to be able to compete with Georgia, Florida, when they're good, Alabama, the good teams. Tennessee, no matter what they say, they're going to want to one day compete with the good teams.
Because they have in the past.
And that's where I think the disconnect is, where it gets kind of harder. What's next?
Chris in Nashville texts in and says, UT Kentucky is not a huge game for either team. No, I don't know any Vol fans cocky for this game. Nobody is looking down at Kentucky. They were almost ranked in the top 10 before last week. We are looking up at them.
Okay, you live around Vol fans. What do you think?
I would say the Vol fans around me don't feel that way. The Vol fans around me think that this will be an easy win.
Oh, my God. An easy win.
Now, me personally, I don't think it's going to be an easy win, but I do think that it's a pick'em.
An easy win.
I don't think it'll be an easy win.
So you're telling me that the texter says Tennessee fans, Jared, are not getting cocky.
Yes, Chris in Nashville says, I don't know any Vol fans that are cocky for this game.
And Dylan in Nashville thinks what?
Dylan in Nashville thinks it's an easy win.
And Mr. Fenton in St. Louis thinks what?
Bama would have been an easy win. Kentucky's an easy win. And they're going to slide into the SEC championship.
Is Georgia going to be an easy win?
Oh, probably.
I mean, this is the thing. Tennessee fans, and until Vol Twitter comes to me and says, hey, we apologize for that. I'll tell you what. Vol Twitter, right? Vol Twitter has a reputation that I think we're all aware of.
Dylan in Nashville texted and said, I would put $100 on Tennessee wins by more than 17.
Deal.
All right. Well, you discuss with your friend Dylan.
Deal. 17. Deal. I will take my $100.
You discuss.
I am very excited for my 17 points and my $100. Goodness gracious. What was I saying?
I'm sorry to interrupt.
I was saying something it was a point I really wanted to make, but I forgot what it was.
I'm so sorry.
It obviously isn't that important if I just. Okay, yeah, Vol Twitter.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure it doesn't surprise many people that I have had many a run-in with Vol Twitter over the years.
Have you now?
Yes, and I am not afraid of Vol Twitter, no matter how intimidating they can be. And one of the things that Vol Twitter loved to do for years was when I said that Mark Stoops was doing a better job than Butch Jones, and they used to retweet that all the time, like, dumbass. Well, how you feel now, Vol Twitter? Mark Stoops is doing a good job.
I thought Twitter didn't matter.
And Tennessee fans...
Mark Stoops is doing a good job.
Tennessee fans cannot, no matter what you tell them, they cannot see Kentucky and view a program that right now is better than them. They cannot do that. They cannot give Kentucky the respect they deserve. And I think that permeates to the players, and I think the players are going to go in there cocky on Saturday, and that would scare me after what happened to Kentucky against Mississippi State.
Not fair. Do not put Vol Twitter's perception of this game onto the team, because you don't...
Vol Twitter got a coach vetoed.
Okay, but there were riots in the streets. But I would not say that Vol Twitter's thoughts are permeating through the minds of these players. I don't think that's how that works.
You watch. I'll take my plus 17. Okay. Be very happy. About my plus 17.
Jeff texts in and says, I believe Tennessee has improved greatly this year, and Kentucky is not as strong as they're getting credit for. A couple of per-game average fumbles by Rodriguez, and Tennessee will be in the driver's seat in this game if their defense holds up.
Pretty big if there.
I mean, Chris Rodriguez, I do have to give him credit. He's a bad man. But if he can't get things going, then Kentucky's offense can't get things going at all.
I know, but
it's the Derrick Henry of this Tennessee Titans offense.
He ran the ball against Georgia.
Barely.
Yes, but he was at times effective.
Against Georgia, no, he didn't even lead the team in rushing.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. All right, coming up next, Crispy will join us. We have got to discuss this whole retirement thing.
Yeah, because we did not approve of that.
No, we did not. Plus, the Predators in their win streak yesterday. We'll get Crispy's thoughts on all of that. But first, Caroline wants to tell you all about BetUS.
I want to tell you about my favorite sportsbook. And, of course, that is BetUS. We've got a Thursday night football game tonight, so get in on the action and do it with BetUS. They've been America's favorite sportsbook for over 25 years, and that is exactly why I endorse them. It's been a long time since they've been around, so they have integrity, they have longevity, and you know that you are going to get paid when you win with BetUS. Plus, they offer everything. They have live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, all kinds of crazy bets. So call them today, and they will walk you through setting up an account. Call them at 1-800-79-BET-US. That is 1-800-79-BET-US. Nobody in the industry gives bigger bonuses than BetUS, so if you join now, mention promo code GAME, and you can get a sign-up bonus on your first deposit. Nobody beats that. I bet at BetUS, and so should you, so go now to BetUS.com. Join today, put in promo code GAME, get a sign-up bonus on your first deposit.
Titans, Rams. The two-tone blue seeks a victory without King Henry on Sunday Night Football.
The closest you will ever see to a running back carrying a franchise.
Tune in Sunday at 5 on ESPN 94.9 for NFL pregame with Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard. Live from Corner Pub in Brentwood. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Creating the finest award-winning tequila means starting with the best ingredients. Camarena Tequila is 250 years in the making from Arandas, Jalisco, Mexico. You see, at Camarena, they wait for their 100% blue Weber agave to reach maturity before harvesting each and every plant by hand. This allows them to consistently produce one of the smoothest and best-tasting tequilas in the world. Experience Camarena Tequila today, available at a fine liquor store near you. Camarena Tequila is the official tequila for the Nashville Soccer Club.
No one outfits golfers better than Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been fitting golfers since 1968. Utilizing cutting-edge fitting technology, we'll analyze your swing and our Foresight launch monitors and fit you with the perfect club, pair of shoes, the latest golf apparel, golf balls, bags, and more. So come by today for your complete custom fitting. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee.
With Fundbox, you can stop waiting and start doing. If your small business needs funds to grow, the time is now. Fundbox offers fast, easy access to small business funding up to $150,000. So hire that new employee, launch that campaign, buy that piece of equipment. Apply in minutes at fundbox.com, and you could get funding as soon as the next business day. Fundbox. Ready, set, grow. Credit line amounts, rates, and terms are based on creditworthiness and subject to change. Additional documentation may be required.
Christmas shopping starts now at Electronic Express. Get huge savings on the hottest gifts with up to 50% off in every department. 4K TVs, computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, and more. That's not all. Get up to 50% off all your appliance needs in stock and ready to deliver. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. We've got what you need this Christmas at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Here they come, turn 4.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe. Every Saturday morning at 9, we hit the big topics. The Ally 400, Kyle Busch, frustrated, Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, and talk to the big names.
I'll go ahead and blame you.
Oh, I think it's big.
Could go a lot of different directions right now.
I was so impressed.
How cool that's going to be.
It's Chasing Checkers, Saturday morning at 9 on ESPN 102.5 The Game and wherever you get your podcast.
This is Greg McElroy, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Stillman and Company Predators lose last night on the road against Edmonton. The CMA road trip continues in Canada. But I have got to start with this. On Saturday, I was enjoying my trip in Atlanta at the World Series with my dad. The Braves had won Game 3. I was feeling great. I had just done a workout in the hotel room. I'm watching college football. And I get an email from our friends at Bally Sports who tell me that Terry Crisp is retiring from hockey at the end of the year. And I sat there on that couch in the hotel room, and I was sad. And I'm still sad. And I understand that sometimes people decide to do different things with their lives. But this one hit me. And unlike everybody else who will wish Crispy well, which we will do throughout the course of the year, and we do now, and that understand Sheila's pain for having to put up with Crispy all the time, which we do understand. Everybody's going to say, this is great for you, Crispy, who joins us now on the program. But not me, Crispy. I got to tell you, this one hurt. You hanging it up. I do not like it. I just want you to know my displeasure with you making your personal life choice for yourself. But all in all, congratulations on what has been an outstanding career.
Hey, thanks, Jared. And you know what? It's no time for remorse or being sad or anything. It's time. We've had a wonderful, wonderful trip, Sheila and I. We've sat and talked about it. And, you know, there's comes a time when you decide just things, your avenues you want to look at. But we've been so blessed and so lucky. We thought, you know what? Now is a good time. We had that hunkered down season last year. We had topsy-turvy. Get a chance to come back one more year and finish with the crew we have some fun. But the whole trip has been fun. And we have such a great bunch in place that it's time to move aside and let the kids go. Mason, Willie, and Pete, and Hal, and Kara, and Lindsay, that whole crew. So, you know what? No, it's I appreciate your words, and you and I are friends. We will be, and we'll have the rest of this year to yell at each other again. But I guess the biggest thing, the most thing is I'll miss you insulting me. I don't know how I'm going to get along without that.
Crispy, I guess my question, how do you make a decision like this? Like, I mean, hockey's been your life for, I mean, it has been your life for years and years and years, since well before I was born. You've done everything you can do as a coach winning the cup. You've done everything you could do as a player. I think you've done everything you can do as a broadcaster, having done it at the national level, having done games for a team for years, having now done it here, you know, on the desk through the success. I mean, you really, when the moments were tough, as far as the franchise was concerned, you were a part of it. You saw it through. I mean, I think you've done everything there is to do. But yet, how do you make a decision like this?
You know what, Ed? You sit down with your wife and family. And that's the main part of it, is to make sure that they know. And when you talk it through, and they said, you know, my grandchildren, Coach, why are you doing that? What are you going to do for tickets? How are we going to get in the game? What's going to happen? And you explain to them, you know what? That's the time to do it, when you've had fun, and when you've had a great, great career with everyone, anything fun hockey. And Sheila and I talked, and we said, you know, we only came here 23 years ago, Sheila, to do one game. And what a trip it's been since then. And for us to be able to come to grips with the fact that it's time, what a better place. We couldn't pick another place. We don't want to go anywhere else. We don't want to move anywhere else. And you know what? There's things we want to do and we will do, but we're not leaving Nashville. We'll be staying and remaining here because we love the city, the fans, the organization, the whole bit. But, you know, it's not a hard decision. It's not a sad decision. It was really actually fun talking about it and talking with them. And I think the biggest thing you miss for the first little while is the camaraderie of the people you work with, the young crew, you know, all the ones I just mentioned and whatnot. But for all of the fans, and Sheila and I have done it for how long now, and the things we've made and the things, and you guys, you know, we've got shots really, it's not tough. It's just, you're feeling the heart, Sheila and I in our mind. It's a time. It's a good time to do it and have some fun. And while we can still do some other things here while we're here.
You know, it's funny you say that. Crispy's with us, and we'll get to the Predators in a second because they've been playing pretty well. But it's funny you say that because, you know, I felt like over the years we've had so many different people on, and there have been some really, you know, some really accomplished people that would come on the radio show. And, you know, they would be football people or something, and Floyd would brush off whatever they say. You know, just like, okay, yeah, thanks, Mike. You know, thanks for, okay, whatever great. You know, like, and you could tell it was in one ear out the other because he didn't really respect what that person had to say very much. And I know I told you this, but I don't think there's a hockey person that we had on the show, whether it be the coach, whether it be Barry Melrose, and Floyd and he worked together at ESPN for a couple of years. And I don't think there was anybody whose opinion he valued more than yours. And I say that I look at our city and I look at losing a GM like Floyd and losing you and the connection that both you guys, I felt like, had with the audience. There was this sense with both of you that even though you guys had coached at the highest level and he'd run a team at the highest level, that you guys were so relatable to the fans and you guys could explain things to the fans that even if they weren't diehards or they didn't know the ins and outs of the game, like you could explain it to them and he could explain it to them. And I look at our city and I'm like, it's not going to be the same without him for the football element of it. It's not going to be the same without you, Crispy. And I think that's one thing that I look at that I think, you know, as a fan and being able to do the show for all the years, and all the things off the air that I've come to you and I've said, Crispy, why is Laviolette doing this? Why are they? And I do think that we as a city are really going to miss that from you, Crispy.
You know what? Thank you for saying that, because of all the people I work with, I respect and appreciate him more, because you know what? We had a camaraderie that I can't explain to you or other people, because he and I had both traveled down the same road. We've been players, we had been in coaching, we've been in managing, et cetera, and so forth. And we both, when I first sat down with you guys, and you know, he didn't say very much unless he wanted to talk to you. And he loved to laugh with you. And when you heard that laugh, it was infectious. You knew when we laughed, when we were talking, I knew we'd struck a chord, a good chord, with each other in doing it. So that, to me, was one of the finest things working with you guys. But again, we were blessed, too, Floyd and I both, that we came to a city that loved sports and were great sports fans. So we got to share that with them. Floyd with the Titans, myself with the Predators. And we grew together. When they brought the team here, the Titans brought the Predators start up. We were lucky. We were the fortunate ones, Floyd and I, to be part of this. And to think about, and to leave on a good note, to leave on a fun note. Like, heck, Sheila and I sit down and talk about, you know what? There's not a day we'd give back. Not one memory here that we would ever want to turn over. And now we get a chance to make new ones. Stay with it. We're not going in, like I said. We'll see down the road what happens. But think about it. Pete and Weber and I, and Claudia and Sheila, hey, we were the originals. We got to grow with them. And sometimes you grow with them and you got to let them fly and you got to start your own way. So that's the way it is. And like I said, if we're not gone this year, I'm going to have a whole week to say goodbye to our fans. And that'll be the best part of it.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I saw the interviews that Sheila was doing. I thought she did a fantastic job. I will say this. I was a little nervous, with Lindsay putting a microphone right there for Sheila. Who knows? What, I was like, give us the goods, Sheila, but it's really excited to have her a part of this as well. Chris,
I'll tell you what scared me more than anything was putting Lindsay and Sheila together on the same mic. That scared me.
There's probably something to that. Crispy's with us. Crispy, we had Hal on the other day. I like the way the team's playing. Even last night, I'm not going to lie, I watched on the Bally Sports app, and so it went out in the third period, so I don't know exactly what happened at the end of the game. But, the back end of a back-to-back against a team that plays with the speed that Edmonton does, I like what I'm seeing from the Predators. I know it's not sexy. They're not winning games 7-2, but I think they're getting good goaltending. I think they're playing well as a team, and you see it especially on the power play, the way they are moving the puck and moving without the puck. And I think Matt Duchene and Ryan Johansson are playing their butts off. I think the young guys are getting in there. You know how I feel about Ben Harper. That's still driving me crazy. But other than that, Crispy, I like what I'm seeing from the team right now. What do you see?
The things you mentioned, I like. All the things you said, because we're critical. Unfortunately, part of our job is to be critical.
Well, not me, but everybody else.
Yeah, here we go. See, I got a whole rest of this year to straighten you out.
Clearly.
But you're right. The game in Calgary was awesome. That was an up-and-down game. The guys were flying. Connor Ingram played in nets for us, played well. And the guys seem to be now more in tune as to what their jobs are, what they're here for, how they're doing it. And unfortunately, we got Forsberg. Haven't heard lately on him getting knocked out of the game the other night. But the thing I learned also is that when they come from one game to another, last night in Edmonton, that was a game where the guys were a little late. We have no excuses. But I watched that Edmonton team play. And, I've never seen a faster team in a long time up and down the ice and the skill they had. And our guys, even though they were mismatched for a little while, they stayed with it. They kept grinding out, and finally Edmonton wore them down. But that's what we're looking for, the stay to it, the stick with it attitude that the guys have in playing. And you mentioned Duchene and Joey, and guys starting to step up now and be the leaders. So, yeah, you know what? They're on the right vein, the right direction.
Crispy, one thing that stood out to me was the way that they played at the end of last year, which was very fun to watch and inspiring in terms of the effort level. And the fact that Duchene and Johansson did play better in the postseason than they had played prior to that. It feels to me like they've picked up right where they left off last year with Coach Hines. And I think that's got to be a big positive, because I don't think that that's a granted that you pick up where you left off from the year before.
Last year was a great finish. That Carolina series, We played, and I know people are going to say you're dozy, Crispy. We could have knocked them out. We had them on the hook, on the ropes, and for 2 games, that were our games to lose or win, we lost in the 5th and 6th game, and the 3rd period's late. But we took them and could have been moving on. So I've always thought about that. The whole summer I thought about that. And then we came back, and the guys are a little slow, and now they're getting back into it. So I'm like you. I look back at that and say, you know what? We know it's there. They can't tell us they don't have it. They can't tell us they can't do it, meaning the players, because they can. Now, we know that. It's up to them to bring it again. And you're right. They're starting to bring it.
Crispy, last one for you. How do you feel about the young kids right now? You know, Tolvanen, we've seen a little flash of that shot, but it hasn't been consistent so far this year. Tomasino is getting the opportunity, which I like. Carrier, Fabro, what do we think of the young guys?
You know, I like their attitude. I like the way they're playing. And I think with the young guys we got in there, and I'm going to throw this one out just because, like I said, I got this year to finish, I want to see our veteran players bring them along with the attitude that they need, with how they have to get better in the games. The coaching staff will do their part. They'll be there always to do it. But where the big part of that comes in the dressing room, with the veterans telling the youngsters, hey, you had a bad game, don't worry about it. Here's how to help you and whatnot. That's what I'm looking forward to, because that's our bloodline. That's the future.
Crispy, as always, we appreciate it. And I'm going to say this, and I know I love giving you a hard time, and I know I'll regret this the next time that you crack on me at the deli, but I will say this. There is not one person in this city who the news of them retiring, I think, would gut me as much as you. I think you are one of the classiest people I know. I think you are one of the best hockey analysts I have ever met. I think that you are as kind to the fans. I said this the other day. Everything that the people see on television, I think you are, and more so. And as somebody who was 8 years old when this team moved here, and I watched on TV with you and Pete getting it all started to becoming friends, and, you know, having you be a big part of every show that I've hosted here, whether it was me by myself, whether it's me with the GM, whether it's me and Caroline now, you've always been a very big part of it. You've always been one of the more popular parts of the show. And I just know this, that we're never going to have another Terry Crisp again. So I'm glad that we will get the entire rest of the year to get to take shots at you, to get to go over everything you say with a fine-tooth comb and everything else, because this city, this audience that has grown every year, they will miss you, and we'll miss you here too. So I hope you enjoy your trips out there in Canada, where everybody gets to celebrate you, because we plan on celebrating you a lot upon your return for this season.
Stella, like I said, you and I have had a great time last night, but I'm going to end just by saying a very heartfelt thank you to you very, very much. And we'll be talking in the near future, buddy. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Yep, take care, Crispy. Terry Crisp joining us on the program, as always, out there in Canada. And I would say this about Crispy, like, this is the Crispy goodbye tour in Canada right now. Mm-hmm. You know, that's, if you watch the games, they got, you know, they got the general manager and the families there, and now they go to Edmonton, now they go to Vancouver. Now it's like, this is the goodbye tour for Crispy. You know, this is like Elton John, but unlike Elton John, he ain't coming back now. Like, this is, and that's why they announced it on Saturday, because it was a home game before. Like, I don't know about you guys in the audience, I'm going to miss Crispy. I mean, this guy, when you do this long enough, you know who's good on radio, you know who's not good. Mm-hmm. The one thing I'll say about Crispy and Floyd, and those two guys, and you heard Crispy talk about it, they got along so well. I mean, off the air, when Crispy would come on, they would talk about whatever it was, and they'd sit there and they'd laugh, and I mean, they were buds. But the thing that I respected about those guys was, you get somebody who's a big name in the NHL, you know, the commissioner, a team president, they all know Crispy, and they'll listen to Crispy. And I told you all last year that if I owned the Predators and I was going to make some big changes, that Terry Crisp would be a part of the discussion of, hey, who do you trust? Who's out there? You know, things like that. Because that's how much I trust him, and I know how much people in the league value him. And Floyd was the same way. There are things that I have found out about Floyd in the NFL after he died that I can't share with you all that literally floored me and would floor you guys. But the fact that they're so humble and they connect with the fans so well. You know, you don't ever feel like Terry Crisp is sitting in an ivory tower, you know, with all of his hockey accomplishments and everything that he's done over the years. In fact, it's the opposite. You know, he's hanging out with you guys, the fans. I can't tell you how many charity events I've been to over the years where, you know, I'd see Crispy at a charity event. It's like, oh, my God, it's Crispy. And we'd have a good time, and Sheila was there. And the fans, he's more popular than the players. And that's no disrespect to the players, but that's who Crispy is. And the time that he takes with the fans, you know, to get to talk to them, take pictures with fans, tell them what he thinks about the team. I mean, he's just an all-around great guy. And I you know, this isn't going to be the only time this year that I do this when it comes to Crispy. Because I'm telling you, I know I'm like a dramatic, you know, over the top, you know, emotional. Like, I was sitting there Saturday like, man, I'm bummed. I'm bummed. And so, glad to have Crispy with us. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. We'll hit the headlines with Caroline and do that next. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobis. Another very similar night tonight compared to last night. Freeze warning in effect from midnight until 9 a.m. Low temperatures low to middle 30s. Beautiful Friday on tap, though, mostly sunny, and high temperatures in the middle 50s.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Are you having Thanksgiving at your house but have no furniture and have no clue where to go? Well, Social Furniture is here to help you get your home ready for hosting your family's Thanksgiving dinner with their great dining room sets. Social Furniture is locally owned and save up to 70% on all furniture that will have your family begging to stay. They have sofas, sectionals with chase lounge, and recliners that are all push-button, electric, and wall away. They have all colors to choose from, and for your comfort, all of them are plus leather, microfiber, and Chanel's. Let Social Furniture help you celebrate your Thanksgiving with hundreds of furniture to choose from and save up to 70%. There's no waiting, and take home your new holiday furniture today or with their same-day fine furniture delivery. That's right, Social Furniture has same-day delivery with no down payments and no interest. Visit Social Furniture in West Nashville at 5412 Charlotte Avenue. Forget the big box store. Support local. Support social. On the web at mysocialfurniture.com.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and final sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an incredible event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and extraordinary pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35% this Friday, Saturday, and yes, open Sunday for this great event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal, and it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers here from LA and New York with their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Attention Nashville, 3-Day Blinds is here to solve your window treatment needs. 3-Day Blinds has more than 40 years of experience designing, installing, and manufacturing high-quality custom window treatments. We transform homes with custom blind shade shutters and drapery with expert in-home design consultations. Your 3-Day Blinds design consultant is with you every step of the way, including setting up your installation. Book your free in-home design consultation today at 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
Darren McFarland.
He's cool. He's got a personality, and they make fun of him.
Willie Donick.
Would this be a fun guy to come to work and hang around with all day?
Chase McCabe.
They're just like, hey, we need you to play yourself.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is on. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Stillman and Company, I went kind of long with Crispy there and then bloviated about it afterwards. So
you tend to bloviate, but that's all right. Terry Crisp deserves all the airtime we can possibly give him.
I do that from time to time. It is time now for Headlines with Caroline.
We're spanning the sports world. It's Headlines with Caroline on Stillman and Company, right here on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A little AFC South news. Texans quarterback Tyrod Taylor will get the start on Sunday against the Dolphins. David Culley announced today. So he has not played since the second quarter in Week 2 against the Browns when he injured his left hamstring. But before he was hurt in Week 2, he was completing about 70% of his passes, 416 yards with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. But since then, the Texans have been outscored by an NFL worst 122 points in 8 games this season. Their only win came under Tyrod Taylor in Week 1. Do you think that this is any sort of menacing news for the Titans that Tyrod Taylor is back in?
I'd much rather face Davis Mills.
Yes.
I mean,
But just the thickest neck in America. I'll never be over the size of that neck.
It's not thick, is it? It's tall.
It's tall and thick. It's like a giraffe.
Well, yeah, but thick is like, you know.
I mean, it's pretty, like, congruent with his skull.
I just always thought it was long.
It's long. It's long and thick.
Look, Tyrod Taylor.
Don't take that out of context.
You're never going to like win the Super Bowl with Tyrod Taylor. If you have a good team and Tyrod Taylor's your quarterback, you can win games in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Texans don't have a good team, but Tyrod he's in this like purgatory space where there's like backup quarterback Case Keenum, starting quarterback Ryan Tannehill,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's great quarterback over here. And he's in this purgatory where I believe Ryan Fitzpatrick is. And this is, I think, where Carson Wentz belongs, is in that, like, he's not a backup, but he's
Andy
not a
Dalton,
good starter. Right.
Mitch Trubisky.
Not Trubisky's backup.
Okay.
I think that's where Tyrod belongs. I think Davis Mills is just not ready, and he might not be any good, but I am bothered by the fact that the 2 times you have to play the Texans is with Tyrod. You still should win the games, even without Derrick Henry, but yes, I am bothered by the return of Tyrod Taylor.
Some more quarterback news. Dak Prescott is expected to play on Sunday against the Broncos. So it was the first time he was a full participant in practice today. First time since injuring his calf against the Patriots last month. So Dak, full participant in practice today, expected to start on Sunday. They have not lost since their season opener against the Bucs. Dak has completed 73% of his passes, 1,800 yards, 16 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, a passer rating of 115, which is the best passer rating of his career since entering the league in 2016. So huge for the Cowboys to have a healthy Dak back.
Dak has been kicking butt.
Yeah, he has.
I mean, he has been fantastic.
And I have to give him credit because I didn't think that he was going to be even nearly this good this season.
I thought Dak was as good as Ryan Tannehill. Like, I thought they were, like, as good. Dak just happened to play for the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. That's not the case.
No. Dak is significantly better than Ryan Tannehill.
Yes.
What's next?
You were bloviating yesterday about how annoyed you were with OBJ news.
Oh, my God. TD. I love TD. I do. But I'm like, Mike Vrabel, when TD was talking about, Odell's not getting the football, and it'd be interesting if they release Odell, which I think they're going to release Odell.
Well, that's my news for you.
Did they?
They haven't. But on Wednesday, OBJ showed up to the practice facility fully ready to practice, and the team told him that he was excused from attending practice yesterday. They listed him as a shoulder, non-injury related personal matter. But he was excused from practice again today. Kevin Stefanski told his players that OBJ is not a part of the team at this time.
What?
Yeah. He said, Kevin Stefanski said, General Manager Andrew Berry and OBJ's reps are discussing a lot of things, quote.
God. See, that's why, and I go back to what TD said, if they release him. And I thought about it this morning. If they release Odell Beckham, we will do I mean, Ian, when was the last time we did a Should the Titans Go After Odell Beckham show? Like 4 years ago?
Whenever he left
the
New
Giants.
York?
Yeah,
but
probably.
We did them. And
No.
He's a bad guy, and he's not a good player.
And he's hurt, and he's getting up there in age.
He's not a good player.
I don't see any upside, and he's going to be so expensive. I see absolutely zero upside.
He's
in acquiring OBJ.
There's 4 reasons why a guy gets cut or
Too
a
old?
guy gets traded.
Too old? Too
bad
hurt?
player, bad guy, injured, too much money.
He's all of those things.
Yes.
I mean, I honestly am an OBJ.
When is the last
big OBJ girl?
You went to LSU.
Yeah,
When's
obviously.
the last time Odell Beckham caught a big pass in a game that mattered?
That one pass against the Cowboys.
And that didn't even matter because that team stunk, I think.
Well, I mean, he still did it. And it's still a very
He caught a one-handed
signature.
catch.
It's a signature thing.
That's like Derrick Henry's stiff arm of Josh Norman. It didn't even count.
It's still cool, though.
But
still
Derrick
happens.
has a lot of plays in games that matter, like, aside from that. Odell Beckham. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, God. And I know it's going to happen, too.
It's going to happen. There's going to be a team that picks him up, and they're going to pay him millions of dollars.
No, he's going to get league minimum.
No.
He's going to get league
minimum. No way.
Antonio Brown gets league minimum because he's a bad guy.
Okay, but Antonio Brown also went through a lot more than OBJ has. I mean, OBJ's had some scuffles on the sidelines, but Antonio Brown, I mean,
threw furniture off of a balcony.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you. But no on OBJ. Yeah. And I can't stand how much they talk about him on TV.
Oh, and after all of this, debacle in Cleveland, that's the biggest talk on ESPN right now is OBJ watch.
Stephen A. Smith did a video previewing First Take yesterday, and he was like, we got a lot coming up on First Take today. I mean, we have got to talk about this Odell Beckham news. Oh, my God. And
it's big news.
And can you believe what Scottie Pippen said about Michael Jordan? See you at First Take. And I was like, I'm listening to that, I'm like, so a football player who hasn't made a meaningful catch in 5 years, and a basketball story from 30 years ago.
Well, if we want to talk about living in the past, we do cover a team with Julio Jones and Adrian Peterson on it.
And we said don't trade for Julio.
Don't do it.
And we said give the ball to Jeremy McNichols over Adrian Peterson. So what do we know?
Yeah, that is very fair. What do we know?
Headlines with Caroline, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, Tony Dungy. Speaking of the past, Tony Dungy has some thoughts on Ryan Tannehill without Derrick Henry. What does Tony think of the Titans? We'll get to that coming up next. FanDuel Sportsbook, my official sportsbook app. That's right. And this game is getting crazy. But I think we got to start with it because it is a big one. Green Bay and Kansas City, they are giving you unbelievable 30-1 odds with the Green Bay and Kansas City matchup. That means you can win $150 on a $5 bet. Going into the week, I thought this was a really, really simple and easy one, right? Green Bay was going to crush Kansas City. Now what? I don't know how to feel, so you're going to have to figure that one out for yourself. But it's a great opportunity with 30-1 odds. FanDuel is sports betting made simple, and they're always hooking you up with great offers. Plus, when you win, you'll get paid in as little as 2 hours, according to FanDuel. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Just sign up with the promo code JGM this week before Green Bay takes on Kansas City, and you can win $150 on a $5 bet. Remember to use the promo code JGM so they know that I sent you exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in a designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Your speaker at home is so smart that even Alexa knows where to find Nashville's best sports talk.
102.5 The Game is Nashville's best sports talk.
Ask Alexa to enable 102.5 The Game. Once enabled, ask Alexa to play 102.5 The Game.
Welcome to 102.5 The Game.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey Nashville, we think you deserve the very best driving experience, and now is the time for our Season of Change CPO event at Mercedes-Benz of Music City. When you purchase a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you're backed by the remaining new vehicle limited warranty. Once that expires, the certified pre-owned limited warranty goes into effect, providing an additional 12 months of coverage with unlimited miles. See all the perks and exceptional offers for your certified pre-owned vehicle from Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Now is the best time to work at Amazon. They are offering higher sign-on bonuses and more hourly pay. On November 6th, Amazon is hosting a hiring event and will be making job offers on the spot for warehouse associates. Please be sure to bring 2 forms of federal identification to help expedite the application process. Come to the Radisson Hotel Nashville Airport Center Drive on November 6th between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. and you could walk away with a new job. Amazon is proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and let me tell you about my friends at Curation CBD. If you're like me and have aches and pains all over your body and you've been searching for a solution, well, I've got it. It's Curation CBD. Curation means healing, and that right there says it all. Curation is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here from Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sell, Curation is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use for athletes and for pets, too. Order yours now at CurationCompany.com. Curation CBD, curated for life.
Mark Howard here to tell you about my friends at Apple Collision Centers. We all know being in a collision is not fun. Neither is all the stress that comes with it, and that's where Apple Collision comes in. Let them take care of everything for you. That's insurance, repair, and your rental details. They've got 3 convenient locations in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Their managers, Tommy Rippey, Daniel Neville, and Chris Brooks and Marty Denson, combined for over 75 years experience. So stop in today and tell them Mark sent you. Online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Karen Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Tony Dungy, Hall of Fame coach. Football Night in America was on Darren Donick and Chase today. And I texted Chase and said, hey, are you planning to ask Tony about Tannehill? He goes, yep. And I was like, good, because I want to know something. You know, Derrick Henry's out. And as much as Mike Vrabel's going to say we're not going to change the offense, and they brought in Adrian Peterson, and they've brought in Deontay Foreman, and I don't think they can throw the ball 40 times a game. And Vrabel said as much on Monday, especially this week against the Rams. The reality is Ryan Tannehill has to play better, right? Like when Michael Jordan left the Chicago Bulls, on some level or another, they had to look at Scotty and say, hey, you got to step up, Scotty. Or at least Scotty knew that Scotty had to step up, right? Well, then again, what Scotty knew, who knows, which we will get into later this hour, by the way. But what Scotty knew, you know, I don't even want to know what Scotty was thinking because I don't even know if Scotty
Pippen's head is a very scary place.
Scotty's all over the place right now. But Tannehill knows, right? Like, he knows, hey, I've got to execute the call, and I've got to do what the coaches say with the game plan. But he kind of knows there's more on me now. Like, if he was a starting pitcher, he would know, I've got to go out there and strike guys out.
I think he knows that more than anyone knows that.
Tony Dungy was asked today on Darren Donick and Chase if Tannehill can do that. Here's what Tony Dungy said.
What do you think about Tannehill's chances to go to another level?
Well, I think he may have to, and he's done it some this year. They've been behind in some games, and it hasn't been just, hey, we've gotten ahead, we've thrown some play-action passes, our defense has gotten the ball for us, and then, we kind of coast in. He's had to bring them back, and they've done that several times, so I think the team is going to feel good about it. And I think Ryan, I know he's ready for the challenge. Hey, we lost our big gun, but we still have to win. So what do we have to do? What do I need to do? And I think he's going to be ready to take that challenge. And I think you're going to see some explosive play from that passing game.
Tony Dungy thinks Tannehill can do it. Now, I'm not sure how much Tony has watched the Titans when he says, hey, Tannehill has carried them at times. Because this season, I think last year, yeah, there were times where you felt comfortable giving Tannehill the ball at the end of the game and Tannehill finding a way to win. This year, I'm not totally there. Like, I do think there has been a little bit of a drop-off in Tannehill's play so far this year. But Tony Dungy says, hey, he knows. Yeah, I think Ryan's going to have to take it up a notch. I think there's going to be more explosive plays, Tony Dungy said. The other thing is we know defenses are now going to stop A.J. Brown. That's going to be their number one thing is we know, hey, 11 is the game breaker they've got, which means it's going to have to come from somewhere else. Tannehill couldn't do it last year in the Ravens game, even though the opportunities were in front of him to be able to do so. Do we agree with Tony Dungy that there is another level that Ryan Tannehill can play at with Derrick Henry out?
I think that's absolutely right. I also think there's another level of Ryan Tannehill that we have seen before from Ryan Tannehill that we haven't seen yet this season. So I think that's another level that Ryan Tannehill has yet to unlock, at least this season, is, you know, his peak in 2019, 2020. Seeing that from Ryan Tannehill. But I think that this is a golden opportunity for Ryan Tannehill to show people, hey, look, having Derrick Henry helps us on every side of the ball in every avenue of this game. But I can do it without him too. And I think that Ryan Tannehill kind of wants to prove that.
See, I'm not sure he can do that, though.
And I know that you always bring up Miami as an example. And that's a very, very fair point to say, look, he didn't have Derrick Henry. Having a few years of maturation of experience. I think that there is another level to Ryan Tannehill.
I think there's another level to Ryan Tannehill that we've already seen before, which is him being more efficient with the football.
More efficient, better decision-making.
And not just handing it to the other team, which has been a problem.
Yes.
I think I keep harping back on something Floyd said, and I brought this up to TD earlier today, which was at the start of the 2020 offseason, Tannehill and Henry were both free agents. And there was kind of like a thought, like, okay, if you had to tag one, which would you do? And what do you... And he said, I'm either bringing them both back or I'm not bringing either back. And I remember thinking to myself, like, you're going to let them both walk in. They just took you to the AFC Championship game, and if you can't bring them both back, you're not going to bring them back. And I remember thinking to myself, like, what? But I think there's some truth to that, in that when Derrick Henry was running the football for the Titans, but they had Blaine Gabbert at quarterback, they couldn't beat Indianapolis. When Derrick Henry was running the ball for the Titans and Mariota was the quarterback, they were 2-4. Tannehill's been to Miami without Derrick, and he was not – I don't think he was a failure because he did get a second contract, but he wasn't the success that they expected him to be, which I thought they were kind of looking for like Dan Marino, which is unfair.
Yeah, that's lofty expectations.
But I don't know if you've noticed this with the Dolphins. They have pretty high expectations for their quarterbacks.
And they don't
apparently
seem to deliver.
Pretty quick triggers with them, too,
yeah.
It looks like. And I keep thinking about that. And I keep thinking about Floyd saying, I either want them both back or I don't want either. Now, I think Derrick Henry can play with a different quarterback. Like, I think if you had a starting level decent quarterback in here, you could win with Derrick. If you had Matthew Stafford as your starting quarterback, you could win with Derrick. Mm-hmm. Now, if you had Jared Goff as your starting quarterback, I don't know. Maybe. If you had Carson Wentz, probably not. But I don't know if you can win with Tannehill by yourself. I mean, right now, you don't have a choice. And the schedule, the one thing where I'm not going to give Tannehill the benefit of the doubt is with the schedule. Because the schedule down the stretch is so easy that they should win these games without Derrick Henry.
Yes.
But I don't know if there is another level with Tannehill that we haven't seen with him as the Titans quarterback. There's another level that we haven't seen this season. But that just involves him taking care of the football. Tony Dungy's talking about explosive plays. I don't know if that's there, but I don't think that's Tannehill's fault. If Tannehill could stand in the pocket all day and deliver the football down the field to better receivers than Nick Westbrook-Akina and Chester Rogers, then I think then you could fairly judge him. But I don't think the Titans have that. They don't even have a tight end right now. So I don't know. I guess I'm a little torn here, like on Tannehill. And I say, like with Jeremy McNichols, that I think that he should get the carries, the lion's share of them, and that he should get the opportunity because he's earned it. So I'm telling you, hey, I don't know if Jeremy McNichols can touch the ball 17 times a game in the NFL. I have no idea. But I think he's earned that opportunity. Here I am with Tannehill, who has certainly earned the opportunity to be your starting quarterback, and that was something that I have always been in support of. And I'm like, I don't know if there's another gear with him. I honestly think that with Tannehill, I went from when he took over thinking, hey, this guy is a good quarterback, to this guy is the guy who should be the quarterback of the Titans, to this guy is a franchise quarterback, to I need to see a little bit more in some of these big games. Green Bay, Baltimore in the playoffs. I'm not sure I'd give Tannehill that third-year extension, which they did when they traded for Julio Jones. I'm not sure I'd do that. Guarantee him that extra year. He needs to show me more to, dude, why did you throw the ball over the middle to a linebacker? Again. Like, so my feelings for Tannehill were, they went way up, and now they're starting to come down a little bit. And now the pressure's on more because there is no Derek, obviously. And I'm worried about Ryan Tannehill. I mean, and some of this may be traced back to the offensive line, and now I'm just speaking out loud here.
Todd Downing.
I think Downing's good.
But he's not Arthur Smith. And that's the point that I'm making, is I think Todd Downing has done a fine job. But I think that what we have learned is that Arthur Smith was able to do things with Ryan Tannehill that I don't think we really realized that's what he was doing.
Well, I mean, I was told before the season that Arthur had really maximized Tannehill. Mm-hmm. And I do think the decision-making, that was the reason that you're seeing these turnovers that you didn't see last year, I think probably do have to do with Arthur. So I don't know. Tony Dungy says he can do it. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. We'll get to your reaction. We'll get to your text on this. And also, Homerific Joe Rexroad. I already told Joe, I was like, I'm going to have to just give you the business on this article that was written in The Athletic. Because speaking of Tannehill, there are some homer takes in here. I thought I was reading something from what's that website that John Glennon was with for a week that has a bunch of fans on there and they all don't like me?
Oh, Broadway Sports?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, they don't like you.
Yeah. Okay. I thought I was reading things from there, like a fan website. When I read Joe Rexroad's 6 predictions for the second half, I thought I was I texted Joe, I'm going bananas on this. And Joe was like, well, I don't really like every writer in the NFL had to do it. And I was like, that's not what I don't like. It just felt like I was reading GoTitansGoPomPoms.com. It was. So we'll get to that. 615-737-1025. It is family time. You've got Thanksgiving, and then you've got the holidays, and there are great gifts to be had, like sheets from my friends at Boll & Branch. You spend 1/3 of your life in bed, so pure organic cotton sheets from Boll & Branch make a truly special gift. They make the highest quality sheet by doing things the right way and not the easy way. And I can tell you this because I sleep on Boll & Branch sheets. I love my Boll & Branch sheets. I'm a great gift giver. I love to give them out, and I also love to receive them. And I think that a lot of people feel that way about this holiday season, and the best thing to do is to give a pair of sheets. The gift everybody wants is a better night's sleep, and you can do that with Boll & Branch sheets because they never disappoint. With the highest quality sheets, blankets, pillows, and throws. Plus, their holiday packaging makes your gift look and feel special. Their signature hem sheets have a buttery soft, lightweight feel made with 100% organic cotton weave that feels incredible in all seasons. Trust me, I know. It comes in a wide range of colors and sizes, from twin up to California King. Completely toxin-free and fair trade certified. Treat yourself and your loved ones to the new standard in bedding from Boll & Branch. Their gift comes wrapped and ready in special holiday packaging. Order by December 19th for guaranteed delivery by Christmas. Get 20% off your first set of sheets with promo code JARED, J-A-R-E-D, at bollandbranch.com. That's BOLLNbranch.com. Promo code JARED. See site for details. Exclusions may apply.
The Titans season has taken a turn with the Derrick Henry injury.
I'm sure Derrick Henry was saying, I'm not coming out of this game. This is a big game. But he was not right. The whole game, you could tell.
For all the latest on the King.
You're not going to be able to replace Derrick Henry. He's the equivalent of a franchise quarterback in the league.
Keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Bill Burr, slight return.
My wife always says the same thing. She's always just like, where did that come from? You just go from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds.
From his Netflix specials and F is for Family, Bill Burr, slight return. Friday, April 22nd, Bridgestone Arena.
First of all, I idle at 75 miles an hour, all right? So don't give me this 0 to 100. I walked into this restaurant at 75. I could hear that guy talking too loud on his cell phone from the parking lot.
Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Winter's a bad time for your furnace to go out, but it's never a bad time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Let me tell you, the most expensive mistake a homebuyer can make is not shopping for the best mortgage. Hey, I'm Roger Moore, founder and CEO of Loan Pronto. It's a fact. Homebuyers who choose Loan Pronto save an average of $3,500. That is a ton of money for furniture or moving expenses. How do we do it? First, we don't charge our clients thousands in junk lender fees and closing costs, and our all-digital platform streamlines the process so you close faster and easier. Realtors love working with us, and we will work with your existing realtor, but don't make a decision about the loan until you call us. Listen, not all mortgages are created equal, and it pays to get a second opinion. Even if you've already started the process, we promise to beat your current offer, or we will pay you $1,000 for your time. So check us out at loanpronto.com or call us today at 615-499-5780. Lower rates, lower cost, and a stress-free experience. Again, loanpronto.com or call us at 615-499-5780.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Rabel said no one in this building wants to start throwing 45 times a game now. What do you like about what you guys have with Derrick out that can let you keep running the ball, keep throwing those play-action downfield shots, and maybe even with some of the new backs that have been brought in?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you look at the run game in general, taking nothing away from Derrick, it starts up front, and that'll continue to stay the same. As we have to be physical up front and create space for the backs that we have. So obviously Derrick's extremely talented and has a rare ability, but if we're able to create space up front and block physically on the outside with our wide receivers, then we're going to be in good shape, especially adding some of the pieces that we add.
Okay, Ryan. Hey, if we block the same way we blocked for Derrick, we'll be okay. You think he buys that?
No, but it's a good mindset to beat him.
It's team game.
Yeah.
It's team game.
Complimentary football.
It doesn't matter the fact that you could have a Pro Bowl left tackle, then he tears his ACL. You have a backup left tackle, then he gets hurt. Then you bring in a practice squad left tackle, and Derrick still runs for 2,000 yards. Like, everything has changed around Derrick over the last 3 years since he had that Jacksonville game. The quarterback has changed.
Mm-hmm.
The line has changed. They have the injuries. They got him a fullback. That's changed. The defense has changed. The receivers have changed.
Tight ends have changed.
Derrick is still the same. Sometimes you have to just say that, it's kind of Derrick there. So we're talking about Tannehill, and Tony Dungy believes that Tannehill can elevate his game. Joe Rexrode believes the same thing. In The Athletic, he's got 6 predictions for the NFL's second half for the Titans. Now, there's 2 elements to this. First is his Tannehill take, which is, quote, Ryan Tannehill will earn some respect around the league. I think we can all agree that Ryan Tannehill is not respected around the league. Fair?
Very fair.
Okay. Joe writes.
Well, at least in national media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe writes, quote, the Tannehill is an average quarterback who rides on Henry's coattails narrative, has never been rooted in reality, and has mostly been perpetuated by people who don't actually watch the Titans play. Timeout. Timeout. Now, I know the GM said I either want them both back or I don't want either of them. That tells me that he thinks Ryan Tannehill's success is very dependent upon Derrick Henry. And I think the GM watched a lot of the Titans, if I had to take a guess.
Yeah, I have to disagree with Joe on this one. That is the narrative because that's kind of the truth.
It feels like it's the truth. You know what the difference would have been?
I guess we're about to find out.
The Ravens hold Derrick Henry to 60 yards in a playoff game. Tannehill goes out, throws for 330, and you beat him. That would be Tannehill not riding on Henry's coattails.
And Tannehill has had plenty of success, but with Derrick Henry.
Joe writes, anyone who watched in 2019 saw a moribund offense struggling to do anything, including finding running room for Henry, take off when Tannehill replaced Marcus Mariota at quarterback. Right, but Marcus is a backup. So he's just a starting quarterback. Like if there were other starting quarterbacks that you brought in here that could turn around and hand it to Derrick, I'm sure they could probably do pretty well. Jared Goff, hand the ball off to Todd Gurley, looked pretty good. Jared Goff playing for the Lions looks pretty terrible. But I digress. Joe writes, he will find life tougher without linebackers vacating the middle of the field to stop Henry and without safeties coming down to do the same. He'll also find it tougher if he keeps just throwing it in the middle of the field right to the other team.
Yeah, that makes your job significantly more difficult.
Joe didn't write that. I said that. But he will move the ball and win games too, just as he's done many times in the past 3 seasons. At times with Henry on the sidelines because the Titans were in their 2-minute offense. What do you think of that?
I mean, I disagree with the, this narrative is not rooted in any sort of reality. I mean, it's a tough argument to make because I don't think that anyone who has watched the Titans could say, you know what, like Ryan Tannehill would be totally fine, could be better off without Derrick Henry. I know that's not what Joe said, but that's just, I don't think that's fair to say, and I think that's very easy and convenient to say after Derrick Henry is hurt, and Ryan Tannehill is going to have to do it without Derrick Henry.
I mean, the reality here is that Ryan Tannehill has to play better than he's played this season.
Yes.
Like that, if Ryan Tannehill last year...
If they want to win games.
If there was an injury to Derrick Henry last year, Ryan Tannehill would have had to elevate the level in which he played. Yes. But now the level of which Ryan Tannehill has played has gone down.
Mm-hmm.
And so... he's got to get back to where he was last year and then more because Derrick Henry's out. Now, that being said, the schedule's pretty easy.
And was my next point, was Joe's writes here, Tannehill will move the ball and win games too, just as he's done many times in the past 3 seasons. What if we were staring down the stretch of Bills, Chiefs, Colts, Rams? Would you feel confident saying that he will move the ball and win games too?
No.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't feel confident about winning any of those 4 games. I mean, now the Chiefs are terrible, but I wouldn't have felt confident about winning any of those games without Derrick Henry.
I would feel the same.
So,
and I know that's not the situation that the Titans find themselves in, luckily, but would we be singing the same tune of, Tannehill will ball and will win games if it wasn't against the Texans and the Jags?
No, that's why I'm telling you, like when I joked that I felt like this was written by, like some blog that's run by a bunch of fans. That is the fan take right there, right? Like, oh yeah, the people that say that Tannehill is only a success because of Derrick Henry don't watch the Titans. We say it. We watch the Titans every week.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, if Tannehill goes off for 350 yards, 2 or 3 touchdown passes, it does that week after week and proves himself like, hey, I don't need Derrick Henry, but he is a wonderful asset to this offense. I'm willing to eat my words, but we haven't seen that.
I mean, Tannehill's been in the league for 10 years. And he's never done that.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing that's going to happen. Then again, coming into the season, if you told me Tannehill was just aimlessly throwing the football at the other team, I would have a hard time having believed that because he never turned the football over the first 2 years.
I mean, I think the key here is Ryan Tannehill doesn't need to throw for 350 yards and 2 to 3 touchdowns. He just needs to make good decisions.
Now, here are the other takes in the Joe column that just get me. And you tell me if this is – and, like, Joe's not a homer. Like, I know I give Joe a hard time. These are very, in my opinion, homerific takes.
There's one in particular that I'm looking at that I think that really kind of grinded your gears.
So the first one is Adrian Peterson, Deontay Foreman, and Jeremy McNichols will add up to a passable fraction of what Derrick Henry was in the offense. Sounds like wishful thinking to me.
I mean, Joe thought that Adrian Peterson was going to get a majority of the carries. I personally disagree with him.
2, Ryan Tannehill will earn some respect around the league. I think Tannehill will beat bad teams, but I don't think Tannehill will ever get credit for beating bad teams.
Now, if Tannehill beats the Rams, then yes, that's a conversation. If Ryan Tannehill does it, that's a conversation that will earn him respect around the league.
Ryan Tannehill's going to have to pull the Eli. Like, he's going to have to take it to the Super Bowl before he gets respect around the league, in my opinion.
Maybe, yeah.
3, Anthony Ferkser will emerge while Julio Jones will continue to be in and out of the lineup.
This is the one that I thought would in particularly grind your gears.
Anthony Ferkser? Like, that is come and gone. That's over with. That's the idea that Ferkser can be anything more than a third down tight end who comes in on 3rd and 6 and gets 7 yards. The idea of that being any different is gone. It's gone. Ferkser is what he is. It's what he's been. There was hope that Ferkser could be better. I didn't really buy into it, but there was hope, and he's not that. Like, one of the last things that I ever said to the GM was, I know you don't think Ferkser's a tight end, like a starting tight end. Now, I don't know what the GM thought of that, but I'm just saying, like, no. Like, I'm done worried about Ferkser. He'll catch a couple passes. It might be a touchdown. It might, what. But I'm done thinking, like, Ferkser's going to change this offense. What they need to do is we need to not worry about Anthony Ferkser, and they need to throw the ball to Michael Pruitt. That's what they need to do. But I'm not sure they're going to do that.
And I think the second part as well, Julio Jones will continue to be in and out of the lineup. For John Robinson's sake, I hope that's not the case. Because if this guy that you put so much capital into is consistently in and out of the lineup when your future Hall of Fame running back is hurt, I mean, that's what Julio came here for in like situations like this.
Joe's other takes, Harold Landry will come up just short of the franchise sack record, but earn himself a big payday. I think both of those are wrong. I think Harold is going to be short of the franchise sack record. I don't think he's going to get to the 14.5 that Javon Carr's had. I mean, that's
what Joe said.
But, like, he says just short. Like, I think Harold's going to end up at, like, 11.
Okay.
And I don't think he's going to earn himself a big payday. He's going to get franchise tagged. Like, I think the Titans are going to make Harold do this again.
Is that fair?
It's the NFL.
I know that.
They
but
franchise
is it fair?
tag Derrick Henry. Like, if I'm going to do it to Derrick, when, like, with the franchise tag, and sometimes I think players complain about the franchise tag for no reason. It's like, oh, I hate this franchise tag because I'd rather have $40 million up front than have to earn the $18.5 I'm going to get paid. For the most part, I think it's just whining and complaining, and I hear the franchise tag complaining. I'm like, all right, quit it. You
get millions of dollars either way.
Right. Derrick was the best running back in the league who had won the rushing title and had carried you to the AFC title game and was probably due about $14 million a year on the market. And because the running back had been devalued so much, the tag was 10.5, which made him like the 4th highest paid running back in the league. And I just thought that was absurd. Now, I understood why the Titans did it, and I backed the Titans for doing it because they made the right move, and they ultimately got Derrick into a contract that is a team-friendly contract. But, I mean, the franchise tag, if it was anybody else, I think that you would have seen somebody threaten to hold out or whatever. So, yeah, I think they're going to franchise tag Landry. Kevin Byard will earn Pro Bowl and All-Pro honors as he did in 2017. All-Pro.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Titans will clinch the AFC South with 4 games to play, as Joe predicts.
Is that crazy?
4 games to play?
What are the last 4 games of the season? Texans the last game, Dolphins before that.
Jacksonville and 49ers.
I mean, I don't think that's crazy. I mean, they're already, we think, 90% locked up the AFC South with 9 games to play.
I mean, I'd have to look at the Colts schedule.
Yeah, I don't have it right in front of me. But
I'll say this.
I don't think that sounds like the
Colts
craziest
lose tonight
thing.
to the Jets, if the Colts lose tonight to the Jets, then I think you have a much better chance of that actually being a reality.
Yeah, I don't think that his last point is the craziest thing in the world.
But didn't those predictions feel a little homerific? There's not one single bad thing in there.
I mean,
do you really expect the second half of the Titans season to be this?
I don't expect it to be glamorous. I don't expect Anthony Ferkser to all of a sudden emerge as this, all-pro tight end.
Like, there's not one bad thing in there.
Short of, Harold Landry coming up short of the franchise sack record. It's a lot of optimism, yes.
And that's what you write at like goteamgo.com.
I think you're being too hard on Joe.
You think so?
Yeah.
Ian, do you think that Joe's predictions are too homerific? Too positive?
I mean, he's not being homerific on purpose.
I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying Joe's a homer.
So,
I'm just,
they might be optimistic, but I guess.
like, surely something bad is going to happen in the second half of the season of the Titans, right?
Well, I don't know what the assignment was. I'm sure there are bad things that are going to happen in the second half of the Titans season.
I mean, it's hard to predict.
But what do you think those would be?
Bad things to happen
I picked
other
them
than
to lose
injuries.
to the Jets.
But, like, what bad things can you predict happen?
Yeah, like they're going to lose
Other
a game
than
to
somebody
the Jags?
gets hurt. Yeah.
I mean, here would be a couple of things
I mean, we were saying yesterday, if not 2 days ago, that the Titans were going to finish with 11 wins or 12 wins.
Yeah, but see, I've been consistent.
That's optimistic.
But see, I think it's different, right? Because there's like a method to the madness of they're going to beat the Texans, the Dolphins, and the Jags.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's built around. I have no expectation for them to win on Sunday. And I don't know if Joe does either. But
I would doubt it.
I mean, I have no expectation for them to win Sunday. Now, they might, but I don't know. There's got to be something bad that happens. Maybe I'll come up tomorrow with my 6, and they won't be 6 negative ones because I do think they're going to win the division. And I do think maybe there's a chance they still end up with the number 2 seed in the AFC. But
Joe does point out that Julio Jones being in and out is not a positive thing that he wrote.
He
Which is
texted
true.
you?
Yeah, he texted us.
Oh, I'm not on my phone in my hand. Now I do. Oh, okay. Try reading stuff. Hey, you try getting 0.1% better, Joe. Then you can talk to me. How about that?
You need to throw Joe a little bit of a bone here.
Do I?
I think you're being tough on him.
Let's go to David, who's up next. Phone line driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Thank you for holding. Go ahead, David.
Hey, what up, Jared? I'm just kind of curious, based on the film defenses have on the Titans, preventing Henry from doing what he does. I mean, do you think there's going to be any hey, we're going to approach the Titans the same exact way?
No.
Or is there going to be just halftime adjustments that happen? I mean, do you think they're going to back up defenders and not have 8 in the box anymore? Or what do you think is going to happen?
I think they will do that. Thank you, David. I think they will do that. I think they will back up off the line of scrimmage, and I think everybody will double and bracket A.J. Brown. That's what I think will happen. And I think it's pretty simple.
I think it becomes exponentially easier.
I mean, the whole goal of your defense is to stop Derrick Henry. Now, Derrick Henry's not there. Okay, let's take away A.J. Brown, and let's make it harder on the quarterback. Coming up next here on Stillman and Company. Did you see what Scottie Pippen said about Michael Jordan?
Yes, I did. And these days, whenever Scottie Pippen opens his mouth, I grab my popcorn because I'm just waiting to see what comes out of Scottie Pippen's mouth.
Oh, Scottie Pippen's book is coming out, and it is all bull crap from the excerpts I've read. Just all bull crap. And I cannot wait to read it. We'll get to that next. Stillman and Company here on ESPN 1025 The Game. Joe says, awesome topic, bro. I think, just me. I think it's a pretty good topic.
It's your show.
I think it's 0.1% better than the topics Joe
All
and Robbie
right, all right.
I'm just saying. Invigorate Health. You're going to feel a lot better than 0.1%. You're going to feel a lot better if you see my friends at Invigorate Health. InvigorateHealthTN.com. If there is something about the way you feel or your body or something you don't like, you need to talk to my friends at Invigorate Health. I went today for my third try of the M-Sculpt Neo, and I'm telling you, I can honestly see a lot of results. I do 2 paddles, which they say is kind of brave. But I do 2 paddles, but I put it right there on my stomach, and I can literally look at myself in the mirror, and I can see the difference. It's got the electromagnetic field. It's got the ultraviolet light or the whatever lights it is. They're great. I love the M-Sculpt Neo. They've also got hormone replacement therapy. So if you're feeling tired or you feel just old, get your levels checked by my friends at Invigorate Health, and then they will set you on a program. They've got IV therapy that you will love, And they've got semaglutide, which is the new weight loss drug that has been approved by the FDA. I have talked to people at the staff who have used semaglutide, and they absolutely swear by it. I have a friend who's a doctor who doesn't work for Invigorate Health, and I asked him, I said, is this safe? He said, yes. I read in Men's Health magazine, this month's edition, November, they say semaglutide is the first FDA-approved drug for obesity. So talk to my friends at Invigorate Health. Again, that is InvigorateHealthTN.com in Mount Juliet. Invigorate Health, they've got the M-Sculpt Neo. They've got hormone replacement therapies. They've got IV therapies. They do it all. And you get great deals when you talk to my friends at Invigorate Health. InvigorateHealthTN.com.
Friday night.
Forsberg shoots and scores. Battle for the rebound. Saros got to it.
The Predators' road trip continues from the Pacific Northwest when they clash with the Vancouver Canucks. Pre-game at 8. Face-off at 9.
On ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Celebrate Thanksgiving with Social Furniture and save up to 70% off all furniture. They have sofas, sectionals with chase lounge, and recliners that are all push-button electric and wall away. They have all colors to choose from for your comfort watching any hockey game. All of them are plus leather, microfiber, and Chanel's. They have same-day delivery with no down payments and no interest. Forget the big box store. Support local. Support social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Whether you're driving for distance, pitching for precision, or putting to win it all, come to Edwin Watts Golf Shop to get custom fit for all your clubs throughout your bag. Hit a few balls and let our team show you the latest swing technology and data that will help optimize your game. Having each club tailored to become your gamers will help you start shooting lower scores. Let Edwin Watts Golf Shops help you make every shot the perfect one. Come in and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Are you interested in starting your own business? Join the Blink Law Entrepreneur Summit on February 2nd for their one-day event to help anyone start a business. Not only will you hear from experienced entrepreneurs from a variety of fields, but all attendees will also get a one-on-one consultation with an attorney who will register your business. You will leave the event with certified documents and an officially registered business. This is a great opportunity for anyone who wants to jumpstart a new business. For more information and to register, go to facebook.com/BlinkLawLLC.
Performing at Skirmerhorn Symphony Center this Sunday, November 7th, 1964, The Tribute, live. Tickets on sale now at NashvilleSymphony.org. Don't miss what Rolling Stone magazine calls the best Beatles tribute on earth. '64, The Tribute, live. Get your tickets now at NashvilleSymphony.org.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company, and Craneworks and Rental Works, your source for crane and equipment rental. Visit Craneworks.com. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Mookie Betts. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Let me be very clear. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a point to gripe about when he points out those things. But you do have an obligation to look at yourself. Like, for example, he's somebody that felt that he should have gotten more money. But it's important to remember, Jordan wasn't getting the money from Reinsdorf either. It wasn't like Reinsdorf could have easily went to Jordan and ripped up his deal. Did Reinsdorf ever do that? For Michael Jordan? Did that ever happen? Despite all the money that Jordan was bringing in to the Bulls organization, despite all the money that he was generating for the NBA and especially for the Bulls, WGN wouldn't exist. We wouldn't give a damn about it if it wasn't for Michael Jordan. Okay? Reinsdorf didn't rip up his deal. Jordan had to wait until his contract expired. Now, we glossed over it because Jordan made so much money off the court. But the bottom line is that was his marketability. He deserved to be the highest paid every year. Reinsdorf never once blinked. at the notion of ripping up the contract to renegotiate with Michael Jordan. So if you don't renegotiate with Michael Jordan, why would you renegotiate with Scottie Pippen?
There you go. That was Stephen A. Smith. So Scottie Pippen is mad. His new book comes out later this month. I plan on buying it, and I think it is all BS from the mouth of one Scottie Pippen. I guess Scottie Pippen Sr. So the new excerpt from his book, let's see what his book's name is, Unguarded, which is coming out, basically says that Scottie was offended by The Last Dance. He was offended that Michael made it about himself. He felt used like a prop.
He thought it was condescending.
And he thought that it was condescending that Michael called him the greatest teammate that he ever played with,
Which that was rude of him to say, to be fair. I'm kidding.
Oh, I was going to say,
I'm kidding.
What are you talking about?
No, I'm kidding.
So, ever since The Last Dance came out, Scottie, and it did highlight some bad things Scottie did.
Yeah.
But ever since The Last Dance came out, Scottie has been, kind of MIA. Scottie used to be on ESPN all the time.
Except when he called Phil Jackson a racist.
Was that when he got taken off, or?
No, this was over the summer, I want to say. Yeah.
So this was when his liquor came out. So he had a liquor come out,
Uh-huh.
and now he's got a book. And when you have a book and you have liquor, then you do promotion.
Say things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as Charles Barkley said, this summer when Scottie wrote in his book that Phil Jackson was a racist for giving the last shot to Tony Kukoc in a 1994 playoff game, which nobody believes, including Dan Patrick. But when you say that, Charles Barkley's like, hey, Scottie, I get it. You try to sell a book. And so what you do is you say bad things about Michael, Phil, Charles Barkley. You say those bad things. Then everybody talks about it, which we're talking about Scottie's book. So I guess it makes sense. But the gist of the issue here was Scottie doesn't like Michael anymore, and he thinks it's all fake and all phony and everything else. Now, the New York Post released another excerpt where Scottie said one of his regrets is that he never gave his condolences to Michael for the passing of Michael's father, which Stephen A., I saw brought up a great point on ESPN, which was that Michael didn't know that Scottie hadn't not given condolences about the death of his father, which means that Scottie bringing it up is kind of Scottie's way of saying, hey, I didn't even wish you condolences when your dad died, and that Stephen A. said the relationship between Scottie and Michael is over. And Michael tried, after the documentary, Michael tried to reach out to Scottie, and they talked about it, and Scottie was upset. But now, apparently, after Scottie wrote that, Michael's done with Scottie. But it sounds like Scottie wants Michael to be done with Scottie, so that doesn't surprise me.
Drama.
I think everything that I read in Scottie Pippen's book, I am going to take with a ginormous shaker of salt.
Yes.
And yet, I can't wait to read it. I can't wait to read it. Because I maybe it's because I just geek out on all the 90s Bulls drama or whatever it is. I mean, I'm watching them talk about it on Countdown on ESPN yesterday. It's the new show. It's not bad. Greeny, Jalen Rose, Stephen A., and Wilbon. I wish they could get a better player than Jalen Rose, but fine, whatever. I'm not going to complain too much. And they're talking about, and Jalen's on Scottie's side. Stephen A. is kind of on Michael's side. Wilbon is like the old pawpaw who knows all of it. And at one point, Wilbon goes, I mean, you do realize this is 35 years old stuff we're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's true, but I'm still And I will say this.
But it's also greatest of all time drama.
I think there are a lot of Bulls players that were upset with that Last Dance documentary. I don't think Scottie's the only one. Luke Longley was barely mentioned in The Last Dance and wasn't interviewed for it. And so in Australia, they made their own Luke Longley one, and Jordan had to do an hour-long sit-down with some broadcaster in Australia. And I think Jordan did it because he probably felt bad that Luke wasn't really included. And Longley was a big part of that team. But I do think this. I think Scottie Pippen was a great basketball player. But I think Scottie is respected for the level of play at which Scottie was. Scottie was a top 50 player. He was voted a top 75 player. He was a 6-time All-Star. He's in the Hall of Fame. We know that he's the best teammate Michael ever had. We know he was a great defensive, but we know Scottie was a great player. But I think Scottie thinks that most of America doesn't give him his due because he was in Michael's shadow. And my answer to that would be, well, guess what? Nobody talks about Tracy McGrady anymore or Gilbert Arenas, but they were good basketball players. And if they played with Michael Jordan, we'd probably remember Tracy McGrady more now too. I mean, I think Scotty resents Michael for the lack of a spotlight that he has. Whereas I think Scotty is lucky to have the spotlight that he still has because he was a great player with Michael.
But that's so easy for us to say. If it's your own ego, your own career that you fought and trained for so long, you don't want to think that way. That, I found all of my success just because of this other guy. Now, some people, I'm sure, would be totally fine with being like, yeah, no, this guy brought me so much success, and I appreciate him so much.
But would you rather be Scottie Pippen or Alonzo Mourning?
I would rather be Scottie Pippen.
Would you rather be Scottie Pippen or Grant Hill?
Probably Scottie Pippen.
So, that's my point.
I know, but he doesn't see it that way. Because he wants to be as much in the spotlight because he thinks that he played just as big of a role.
He wants to be Shaq, right? Like we look at Kobe and Shaq as on kind of the same level.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be Robin.
But he is.
But he doesn't want to be, and that's where a lot of this animosity comes
from. Go
from.
back to 1994 and beat New York.
Don't tell me that. I mean, I think it's ridiculous. But I'm just telling you, Scottie Pippen probably sees it as, I'm sick of being the sidekick.
This is how Scottie feels.
This is how Scottie feels. That, Michael Jordan got a 10-part documentary that everyone in America watched, and I was just the sidekick. I have those trophies too.
I can't wait to read Scottie's book. I love this stuff. You know how much I love this stuff.
It's so drama. It's just like, it's the perfect soap opera. That's just not a soap opera, but it's real life and it involves sports.
Do you think if Derrick Henry had 3 more seasons like he was on pace to have this year and had last year, ever harbor ill will towards Henry?
I would have to think not, just from, what I hear from Tannehill. He is so
He's not taking
gracious
himself
and
out of a playoff game because Vrabel calls a play for Derrick Henry.
Yes. I think that Tannehill understands that a lot of the success of this team is rooted in Derrick Henry.
I'll say this, too, about Scotty. When Scotty used to go on TV, and when Scotty, I thought Scotty was great in The Last Dance. His interviews and stuff. I mean, he, felt like a real person. I think The Last Dance broke Scotty. I think he's nuts.
After the Phil Jackson discussion that he had with Dan Patrick, I thought that something's wrong with this man.
How are Michael and Kobe's coach a racist?
I mean, you're a coach in the NBA.
He gave the ball to Tony Kukoc. Breaking news, Tony's a pretty good offensive player.
And I think, too, we've seen it with the Phoenix Suns coach, or the owner or general manager. I don't know off the top of my head. So many stories come out about him being racist and sexist. I think in this day and age, not very many people are safe from, being called out for what they truly are. So I feel like by this time, Phil Jackson would have been exposed if he really was a racist.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
Scotty went and coached on, Phil's staff in, some kind of small internship role or whatever with the Lakers. So I guess he was too much of a racist to call the play for Scotty, but not too much of a racist for Scotty to go work for him in Los Angeles.
Exactly.
Unbelievable. I can't wait to read Scotty's book.
It's all the tea is piping hot.
Caroline's is next.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobis. Another very similar night tonight compared to last night. Freeze warning in effect from midnight until 9 a.m. Low temperatures low to middle 30s. Beautiful Friday on tap, though, mostly sunny, and high temperatures in the middle 50s.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and final sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an incredible event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and extraordinary pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35% this Friday, Saturday, and yes, open Sunday for this great event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal, and it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers here from LA and New York with their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Christmas shopping starts now at Electronic Express. Get huge savings on the hottest gifts with up to 50% off in every department. 4K TVs, computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, and more. That's not all. Get up to 50% off all your appliance needs in stock and ready to deliver. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. We've got what you need this Christmas at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
312 Pizza Company is family owned and operated, bringing you a slice of Chicago to Nashville. 312 Pizza Company specializes in deep dish pizza, thin crust pizza, and all things Chicago style. Always made from scratch using secret family recipes passed down generation to generation. 312 Pizza is open every day except for Tuesdays and is located in Germantown with dine-in, takeout, and curbside available. Call 615-730-7888 to order 312 Pizza Company, Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Stanley.
That size and that speed just doesn't grow on trees. That could be something that you could really turn into.
Joe Rex Road.
Just hold out and somebody will call in the bad signal.
Get your morning started with Robbie and Rex Road every weekday from 6 to 10. Presented by Volunteer State Bank on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Front Office Sports says the NBA wants its own Manning cast, so they're going to announce an alternate telecast with Jamal Crawford and Quentin Richardson.
That I don't think that has.
Who gives
the
a
same.
rat's? Come on. You know what they should do? Get it with Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman. I will watch.
Ratings through the roof.
I will watch Scottie and Dennis talking about basketball and complaining about what happened in the 90s. Time now for Caroline's.
Get in on the action. Put the money on the mahogany. What's on tap on the sports books? It's time to break it all down with Caroline's. Here on Stillman and Company.
On ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Caroline's is brought to you by BetUS, America's favorite sports book for over 25 years. You can sign up at BetUS.com, mention promo code GAME, and get a sign-up bonus on your first deposit. Thursday night football tonight, Jets at Colts. Give me the Jets plus 10.5.
I think Jets are going to win, too.
Yeah, Mike White beating the Bengals. I think they're still going to be riding that high. Mike White threw for 405 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. That was the first time a Jets quarterback had thrown for more than 400 yards in 21 years.
I think the Jets are going to win. I think this will be very beneficial for the Titans. I think the Colts knew that their season was on the line Sunday, and they didn't get it done. I think they're still reeling. If this game were played on a Sunday, I would take the Colts. I am going to take the Jets plus 10.5. I think the Jets are going to win tonight on Thursday Night Football. Tell us about BetUS.
Caroline's is brought to you by BetUS, America's favorite sports book for over 25 years. You can sign up at BetUS.com, mention promo code GAME, and get a sign-up bonus on your first deposit.
I started the show thanking the people. I want to thank them again. Congratulations to Robbie and Joe and to Darren, Donick, and Chase as well for just being great. So thank you guys for all your support. We're out of here. We're back tomorrow at 2.